is not just a story about my grandparents, but a story about their trials, their love, and prevail. They were both born in opposite parts of Italy, and both had very difficult childhoods. But in spite of this, they pushed forward through it to get to their desired destination. Unlike so many people, they do not make excuses for their past, but keep pushing forward. Like the ocean, they are strong and persistent. These two people are my breath of fresh air. When I'm struggling or need a good laugh, they are always there to build me up and catch me so I don't fall. Even though they have 6 grandkids, I believe I have a unique relationship with them. My grandparents' experiences have not only shaped their future, but have impacted on how I view my life and my own future. Both of their childhoods were not easy. However, they do not talk about their childhoods very often with bad images. They are an example in my life on how to live. To start, both of their childhoods were not easy. My grandfather was born and raised in Modica, Sicily in 1935 and lost his twin brother at birth. His dad died when he was only 5 at the beginning of the World War, and while he was going to school, he was forced to join Mussolini's fascist regime. His brave mother, facing starvation, stood up to a Nazi soldier's gun so she would be able to get just a little bit of rice for him and his sister Lydia. She remarried and gave him another sister, but due to postpartum depression, it sent her to a mental hospital. After this, he was orphaned and he hopped around from relative to relative until he was 18. He then joined the Merchant Marines and traveled to 6 continents. He would always come back and visit his sister Lydia and bring her presents while she was staying at the convent. In his 20s, his aunt helped him come to Cleveland, Ohio. He went to school and became an electrical engineer. This is where he met my grandmother and later got her to marry him. My grandma, on the other hand, had a completely different type of childhood. She grew up in a tiny town where mountains were the skies, called Capistrano, Italy, in 1946, right after the war. Her father was the town tailor and taught her how to sew. When she was 18 years old, a woman from Cleveland came to Italy to visit and invited her to come over for the summer to work in her bridal shop. Secretly, she decided she would never come back once she made it onto the plane. No one was there to meet her at the Cleveland airport, and she did not speak any English. She had $5 and gave the $5 and the address to the cab driver and went on to her new home. She is one of the bravest people I know. The bridal shop's owner's son actually fell in love with her, but did not like her and was very upset when she chose my grandfather instead. Soon the immigration police arrested her and she was soon to be deported. My grandfather, a U.S. citizen, married her quickly so they would be able to stay together. I do not tell you their story for you to feel pity on them because how hard their childhood must have been, but to show how brave and resilient they are. My grandparents are the type of people who only look ahead when they look at their past. And when they do look at their past, they look at it in admiration, but never sadness. They overcome their trials and with little complaint. My grandfather went from having a single mother, becoming a soldier at age 5, being orphaned, and is now a retired electrical engineer with an accomplished life behind him. He turns 80 next month, yet he looks 60 because he exercises every day. Even though his story may seem sad and hard to us, he never tells it in this light. Whenever he talks about his past, even the sad moments, he always talks about his love for his mother and highlights all the good memories. In Italian culture, grudges run strong and deep, but he refuses to have bad blood. He forgives and forgets, which is unusual for a purebred Sicilian man. His house is always a place for people that can come and visit, even if they might have had a falling out before. Their legacy of hard work and perseverance is what I aspire to live by. They are the examples in my life, and I strive to live up to. My life has not always been easy, like many of us, but it was nothing compared to what they had to go through. If my grandparents are strong enough to go through all those hardships, and I have their blood in me, I will always find a way that I can keep going. I will not allow hard things to stop me from seeing the world and helping others live their lives through medicine. Even though their childhoods were not picture book, they still remember with fondness. Even though there was much put in their way, they didn't let that stop them. And because they are So steadfast and strong, they have showed me how to do the same. We can overcome our past circumstances with hard work. My grandparents are the roots of my trees. They have shown me strength and that the impossible is always possible. Without them, I wouldn't be immersed in my Italian culture, have an appreciation for our past, and hope for the future. My grandparents are the ones I admire.